Oh, Tiger's up.
Should have just stopped right there, huh? Trying to get them wavy lines out of there. Little extended intro here while people gather. We got a long show tonight, so get your snacks or popcorn, go to the bathroom. There's not many stops once we get going. As the porta potty blows down the street. Well, if you hang out long enough, Dawn, it'll be a good morning. I'll make it a little better for you. Watch this. Taiwan just got hammered. All right, let's cut that out. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We have an X9 that went off and it's heading our way, so let's just get this ball rolling. And while this is loading up here, I want to take a moment to thank you guys for taking some of your time to be a part of this precious family. When you stick it out through the end of the show, you realize that this is more than just a regular YouTube live stream. There's something different about this channel, okay? You are indeed a member of a precious family, okay? We're going to get in depth in that tonight, too. Okay, because the 7-year birthday is coming up in about 5 minutes. So let's just get this show on the road, shall we? As you can see, lots and lots of activity around the sun, huge explosions, X9 out of one of these right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and catch the opening frame here and just start plucking away at this. Now, everybody, this is going to be disturbing, so put your big boy pants on. And you ladies, put your big girl panties on, because here we go. All right, you can see a little object right here kind of trailing along as we opening frame here at 024 of September 3rd, or October 3rd, 2024. I was joking around calling this September 33rd. because it would be September 33rd if there were more than 30 days in September. But October 3rd, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Here comes our first little moons coming, all right? And then here comes this one. You can already see a little dark patch right here and a plume of plasma coming out. Watch as we go very carefully through this one. Okay, you can see that we have something bigger back here. All right, something going on bigger back in here. You can see what it's really kind of latching onto are these little moons and stuff, these little satellites that are trailing along with it. But that's one of our bigger objects kind of hiding back there. But you can tell by the flow symmetries and asymmetries and the little trailing satellites going along with it and that big stretch that was a pretty decent size object. There's another little moons and stuff that got ripped away coming out down here now. Then we have this event here taking place over on this side too. And right about, not get enough brightness in that screen. Right here. No, one more frame. Illuminates it perfectly. All right. So here we are at our thumbnail frame. Let me kind of get these wavy lines out. All right. Now what we're talking about is your nice round object, your bigger round object going off the page here a little bit and coming back around. You can see the plasma clinging to the very edge of it, okay, on this back side right here. And then, of course, you can see our little moons and stuff over here that are trailing along, the little satellites trailing along with it. But you can see how this plasma here comes out and bends and goes over the top of it. Here you can see it. All right, so there's your bigger object right there. And this perfect white circle or this little arch right back here really helps define the entire object right there. Okay, you gotta remember these objects are dark. They don't reflect light, they absorb light. And they see all this dark area with all the plasma kind of reaching out to this darker black spheroid back behind here. And you can, like I said, you can see it in the flow patterns over on this side over here. Pretty well defined. And you can see your flailing plasma flailing over the top and, you know, going over the crest of the spheroid. Right there. All right, let me grab that button again and continue on because, okay, you see that one and it's moving out of frame. You see something else going on up here. Back in here, there's another one. See this stretch? See a little moon here kind of hanging out? That one's really faint and kind of further away, but there's another one right back in there moving by. And then look at this. Let's go back right here. Make out our big black object goes off the frame right there. And you can see the little satellites, little moons, ones that got pulled away that interacted with the sun and it ricocheted off at a different angle. Bring that back. You see these flow asymmetries reaching out and around it, right? And then here it comes and it passes on by. Some alien faces and stuff hiding in that. So let's click through this again. Okay, you can see there's one back there hiding in the background. some of the moons. Then we got another big one right there. And then they come in like a 3-pack. There's like 3 of these big ones. This one right up here is another something that's just out of frame or just out of that plasma reach. And then there's this. And that's we're interacting with these bigger objects more and more often. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that back into motion here. And now that you know what to look for, you can see it when it's in motion a little bit easier. What I want to try to do is slide this down just a bit better for your viewing. There we go. All right, let that loop run for a minute. Let your trained eyes kind of look at what's going on out there. You got to remember space. These are 3-dimensional. This isn't just like a 2-dimensional loop coming out and around. There's a round spheroid object back there with plasma flowing over it, much like fluid dynamics. Not saying that this is water, but it behaves very similar to fluid dynamics, okay? And these objects being dark and not reflecting light, you can't see them. You only see them when they interact with the sun and plasma drapes over them and drapes around them. And what do you think is causing all these huge CMEs and all these spikes and all these little things? It's these moons and satellites to these bigger objects. You're looking at like little miniature solar systems. A big object with a bunch of little satellite moons and stuff. You see stuff flowing inward a little bit. Wait, right here at the very beginning, there's some of the moons and stuff coming in from behind. They look like they're going in, but they're actually coming from behind the sun, approaching it and ricocheting off at different angles. And you can see the bigger ones have shifted. You know, sometimes they're on one side, but now they're kind of up here, up at the 10 o'clock and up at the 2 o'clock instead of, here at 3, 6, and 9. So a bunch of big objects right there that we just interacted with. There's like a clump of them, and we go right through this clump or something and interact with 2 to 3 of them at a time now instead of one day, one the next, and one another day. So there's your satellite for right now. Let's get on over here to SolarHam because, they don't have it up there anymore. But X9 hit. I'm sure everybody knows by now. I'm last to report on it, thankfully. Solar flux indice 312. Last night I was telling you, watch out, we're getting close to 300. Well, here we are, 312. We're up 37 points, okay? We busted through the 200 ceiling, and we're at 312. The only other time I saw it over 312 was 336 or something that we had last time, and we're dang close to that right now. All it takes another jump of 37, and we'll be way over it. Okay, so we're approaching very volatile time on the sun. Also, your sunspot number count at 229. We were in the yellow last night, approaching the red, and I'm talking about this as well. Well, here we are, 35 added sunspots. We're up to 229. That includes our areas growing now, and we're into the 1700s and getting into the cautionary. Look, we're up 420. Up 420. Imagine that. All right, let's get over here to this and zoom in really quick. I want you guys to see when these objects interact with the sun's magnetic field. Come here, you, and cause these sunspots. Magnetic configurations that are very intense and very wobbly and wonky and misshapen and stuff. Here we have, blue, red over blue instead of left and right. They're over on top of each other. I don't know if anybody noticed this configuration, but we're having different configurations. Here's left and right. Here's left and right. But right here, whoops, can't do that on this. Right here, this red is over the blue. Over here, this blue is over the red. We're getting those vertical polarities again out of 3844, and this one 3842. This is the one that spit a X9 right at us. center disk below the southern hemisphere. I don't think a sniper could have aimed a better shot at us. That is coming right at us. And the one that came off of this region right before the X7 was just over here a little bit to the left, and that's coming. It was here yesterday, so that's coming, or the other day. So we got two of them, X7 and an X9 coming our way. It's getting crazy. Now, we were talking about 3848 last night, how big it was and stuff. Well, it's still pretty impressive. The further it gets away from the limb, the less, the less, what's the term I'm looking for right now? Magnification, or making it look bigger. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyways, but it's still pretty healthy as it rounds, more straight on. It's still a good sized sunspot. There's something latched onto this, so watch out. Don't be surprised if 3848 is the next one to go off. If we look over here, there's a spire region. That's where it just came off of that region right there. See these other spires going on over here? These are places to watch for further activity because they're like compass needles. They point out at some kind of magnetic object, or they're linking up. They act like compass needles. So we'll still see some more, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, something bust out of this one because of the sheer size of it too. Hopefully it doesn't do it when it's center disk pointed right at us, but for right now, we got our hands full with two X7 and a 9 coming our direction. All right, let's slide on over and scroll on down and see how fluxed we are. We are pretty fluxed. Goes X-ray flux, that is. Now, we had a very bumpy day yesterday. These 3M flares, boom, 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 boom. We had the X flare right just off the page from here, okay? So a lot of energy coming our way, and then bang, here's our biggest X flare since 2017, since 7 years ago when all this started, okay? And this is like the 7-year birthday, and how appropriate that the sun fires off the next biggest flare to that event 7 years ago. Bang. So we got our X9 right there. You can see it was a long duration event. It was a very intense pop, but then once the tail kind of drags out, when we see the spaghettification effect, when the teardrop effect still connected to the sun, so you could see it dragged out for a little while until it went down below M class. Whoops. Didn't want to click on that. Back to this. So after coming through that, we had the little moons, little other trailing satellites that pop and click or whatever. And then all of a sudden, boo, the power's going down. We're going, we're at M class level. Now it's kind of dropping back down. We're currently at C6.8, but we had a little dip. This is just data dropout. Had a little spike, and we're coming out of that. We could take a peek at that if you want. Oh, it's right there. 10-4, good buddy. All right, little peek into the future really quick here. Not much to see compared to what we just looked at. So good, good, good. All right, so there's your peak. Now over here, our 3-day geomagnetic forecast. G3s all 3 days. Don't be surprised if one of these turns purple and goes G4 because we had an X9 and it's coming our way. It's not like it's going to miss or we're going to get a glancing blow, or it's going to get us. So, whoops, one more back. That's right. All right, there we go. So your X flare potential 35% right now, M flare potential 99% should be. And we're still kind of waiting on a proton storm. The potential is 35% right there. So remember G3s for the next 3 days on our weather forecast later on. Okay, now coming in here, X 9.0 type 2 radio blackout, probably more like a type 3 radio blackout. All right. That's an intense flare. But meanwhile, right now, currently, our auroras are very quiet. Okay, that's good. We're not taking on a bunch of geomagnetic energy right now. Our KP level's still around 2, but it's unsettled. It's anticipating this next impact coming. Okay, a lot of red on this right here. We got 3848. That's the one we're kind of newer one that we're looking at. The big bad boy is already beta gamma and growing. Meanwhile, 3844 beta gamma delta and growing. 3843 beta delta. Okay, look at all the delta configuration all through here. 42 beta gamma delta and growing. All these beta gamma deltas are still growing. They haven't finished off yet. There's still other activity coming. 3841 beta delta and declining, but here we go with this article. Major X9 solar flare was detected around Earth-facing sunspot region 3842 on October 3rd. This is the strongest X-ray event of the current solar cycle. More details to follow regarding the possible CME. Now, here's the CME update. A coronal mass ejection CME with a halo signature is evident following the major X9 solar flare this morning. And because the source region of AR 3842 is directly facing Earth, the plasma cloud appears to be aimed directly towards our planet. A further update will be provided later on once CME tracking models become available. Okay. Please note that the faint CME associated with the X7 event on October 1st is expected to pass our planet sometime during the next few days. Well, that's pretty accurate. Sometime during the next few days. All right, aurora sky watchers at middle and high latitudes. Yeah. We all know about your sky watchers. Let's check out the movie really quick, shall we? Boom. Oh, dear Lord, we're going to get a zoomed up version of it. Oh, nice. Yeah, that might cause some issues. Right there. We might have a few issues coming from that, and we'll get into that part later on. Meanwhile, let's get on out of here and continue. Let's get that tracker open and start track-a-lacking since we are lacking some tracking. Whoops, no. I want the actual thing so I can... Wait. No, that only showing the one. Come back here. I want this one that's showing the two. All right, there you go. Earth right there. Two different impacts. Now, something else I'm noticing here is usually this plasma density chart goes from 0 to 15. Now, all of a sudden, it goes 0 to 50, making these spikes look a lot smaller. Those should be huge spikes. Like, that's why they had to increase it, because it's above or reaching 15. So they had to adjust the scale and show these look a little smaller, a little more minor in size, but they're still reaching what used to be the very top of this thing. Okay, so they've adjusted their incrementation on this side, which makes these impacts look a little smaller, but don't be deceived. These are huge spikes. They should look like this on our old scale. It would go up, clear up to the top. So we're seeing very dense, and their velocity, they've increased this as well. Okay, from 300 to 900 right here. So this band of velocity, this scale chart has changed as well. So you're going to see some velocity changes, especially. I don't expect these two to cannibalize. Neither do these guys. They're expecting a double impact, one right here and one right there. Now, let me discuss this double impact very, very carefully, distinctly as possible that I can for you, so you could grasp what could possibly happen here. Now, I pray this doesn't happen, and I'm wrong. Our first impact right here, okay, the first wave could cause some grinding down at the core. Okay. And when the core and the shell start grinding, well, that weakens our magnetic field. So if the first impact happens to cause some grinding and our magnetic field gets weak, and then we get hit with the 9 right on the chin, we could be talking a very severe geomagnetic storm impact, maybe something stronger than we've seen before, because of the fact of our magnetic field being weakened by a impact before. Do you guys understand what I'm telling you? This is not a good setup to have a strong X7 and then a stronger 9 behind it. That X7 could weaken our field. I pray that the Earth does a good job of delivering that pressure right back up to the surface and relieving it quickly before we absorb the second one. Because if we're grinding and our magnetic field is weak due to this first impact, and then we get hit with the second one, it could fry a lot of systems. All right. It could do some damage, especially communications and stuff like that. All right. Then we're talking absorption down to the core. When you are absorbing a lot of energy, you're going to get a lot of in return. And we'll get into that in our earthquake report and stuff tonight too, as well. So very, very unnerving setup. All right. Don't let it unnerve you, but that is like a setup that I don't like to see. All right. We're going to have to bust out that shield, the shield that came out from behind the sun and was like blocking CMEs, and put the sucker up right in front of the Earth. All right, now let's get on. I think we covered everything. Yeah, that's just the movie from the X7. I want to come over here really quick to spaceweather.com as well. Okay, 2 CMEs are heading for Earth. Confirmed. Confirmed. 2 CMEs are now heading for Earth following consecutive X flares, X7.1 and 9.1, from active sunspot 3842. According to NOAA and NASA models, the first, the X7, will strike Earth on October 4th. The second, the more potent X9, will strike on the 6th. The dual impacts could spark strong G3 class geomagnetic storms with auroras at mid latitudes. Okay. The strongest flare yet, sunspot 3842, exploded again today, producing the strongest solar flare of solar cycle 25 so far. NASA Solar Dynamics Observatory recorded the X9.1. All right, back in 2017, I think it was an X10 and then an X9 something, and then the third one was an X7 or an X8. All right. So the first one was like an X10. This is rivaling what happened 7 years ago, exactly 7 years from then. So, well, not exactly. We're a week away from it. But there we go. 2 of them confirmed heading to Earth. All right. And what I was telling you, the first one on October 4th could cause a geomagnetic weakening of our geomagnetic field. Okay. And then the second one striking on the 6th, if our field is weak, that could really send auroras past mid latitudes. You'd see them all the way down to the equator, probably, like we did last time. And we might see one of those big long duration, because look at this. Even though it started off and was very abrupt, it still has this trailing end, so you could see a long duration like absorption event. Okay, a lot of red on this map as well. Red should be cueing you in as to warning, warning, warning. Now let's come on over here to the Schumann, where there's a lot of red on there as well, isn't there? This right here, starting at 12 o'clock today, was just gnarly. It went way off the chart. Okay, you could see if you continued up, it went way off the page. It was way up here above the 10-4 up there. All right, with a bunch of other blasts going along with it. This one is from our flare. Okay, when it hits the ionosphere, it just supercharged the ionosphere. So this reading isn't like from the core, but I bet these are right through here a little bit. Okay, because once this hit, then the core starts grinding, and it didn't take very long. And you see buildups of pressure, drop in pressure, build up, drop. Another blast hits us, build up, drop, build up, drop. So we have been on one of those extreme roller coaster rides today. Whether you realized it or not, in the background, there was all kinds of just frequency chaos going on. All right, and very intense too. So very painful for some people. A lot of confusion, a lot of dizziness, a lot of just different effects. Okay, it affects the animals too. All right, and then going into the latest couple hours is not much really to look at. But as you can see today, for quite a while, from about 1200 through well 6, about 8, maybe 10, we've had just this intense on and off blast. Okay, and like I said, this is causing a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos in the background without you even knowing it. Now, here we are over at Null School. So let's get started. We got lots of vortex activity going on. One right here at our new intertropical convergence zone. Okay, this is like your new equator basically up here. It's not necessarily the axis equator, but your intertropical convergence zone has shifted now. See this blue line right here where air gets separated? It stops going north and northern air stops going south. That should be down here at this line. Okay, so your whole planet is kind of shifted like that. Bink. Or the weather patterns have shifted like that, probably because the planet has. Okay, and you can see it going all the way across, all the way over to here. As you're even in this area, see it comes up from the southern part up into this latitude, even a little higher now. Gets pulled up by other rotation and stuff in the area. Okay, so now we're going to come over here and check out your sandstorm. Oh boy. I'm going to leave those wind patterns on for just a second because they really help draw a diagram as to why our sandstorm plumes look the way they do. I mean, they're cookie cutter to our wind patterns right here, and you can see this vortex has picked up a bunch of it. We got another one here. Now, this is being our new intertropical convergence zone at this latitude. That's where this one's starting. And then we got a second one and a third one, all three in a row. Okay, so let me take the wind off of here. Not yet, Lord. I'm not yawning yet. Okay, over on this side of the planet, you can see still a lot of sand going on through India, Saudi Arabia, through the Middle East and stuff. They did have a little clearing out right there for a minute. Look at that. They're breathing a little sigh of relief in this area. But those eyes are still there. It's just still looking at that region like it's going to have them for lunch. All right, so no sand really in this region hindering any kind of convective activity. This area right here that's very hot water is very naked as far as sand, and that sand helps kind of hinder the cloud top height. So watch out in the meantime that we don't have any kind of, well, just a quick spin up in this area because it could blossom really quick. We saw a tropical storm turn into a category 5 in a day, so that can change really quickly. But there's your sandstorm report for tonight. All right, good. Now let's get on over to your SO2. And the reason why we do SO2 is because it's sulfur dioxide. This is the gas that surrounds the magma down below. It's basically vaporized magma. So hot that it comes out of the ground, so hot it sparks fires too. But as you can see, we have a country divided here. One side's bleeding out and got all these plumes going, even despite the flooding. Even despite the flooding, we are getting so much pressure that it's pushing out SO2 despite the flooding. Over here, perforations in the crust. There's your country divided. Now we have fires being started because SO2 comes out of the ground so hot. The gas itself is so hot that any kind of vegetation surrounding the emission site will spontaneously combust. And it causes forest fires and wildfires. And we've been having this activity up in Canada since last year. And now it has shifted to the lower 48. Let's just let that kind of sit there for a minute. And yeah, we're getting a widespread fire outbreak going on pretty good right about now throughout Oregon, Washington, into Idaho, out into Montana, Wyoming, even coming down into Utah now. See these other spots right here? See these? All these are just filled in. I seen this fire over down the Sierra Crest. I was wondering if that was from an SO2 plume, and sure enough. Oh, great. I got one right next door. Yeah, we have definitely seen a spread down through California, out into Utah, up into Montana, even out to here. Wow. For those of you who are here every day and kind of look at this every night, you'll see that there's been an uptick, especially here by Utah. This and this, and up here and here, these are all new. All this activity going on up here in Oregon and Washington. All right. Since the news probably won't cover this, I'm going to start telling people in this area right here, you better start considering where you're going to move. You know, you might want to evacuate and start considering some spots away from, volcanoes or whatever, where it's not going to spark a forest fire. Because these things are spreading. And I want you to think about something. You see this uptick in the spread right now, and you think this is concerning because you see quite a drastic little spread, these and this and up in here. I want you to think about something. Our X7 and our X9 have yet to hit, and we're already seeing an uptick in forest fires because of SO2 emissions. Even down here in SoCal. These, I don't know. I can't really nail those ones down, but on this side it's a little easier because we have thicker crust, and perforations are definitely what's causing the SO2 emission sites. So, getting very, very hot out on the west coast here with a lot of fires. Okay, let's take that off for right now before we get yanked off of YouTube, huh? All right. Stop off at Hawaii. It's doing its normal thing. Little darker plume, a little more intense around Oahu right now. You can see the little bigger, darker plume. Hawaii's still pumping out some. Maui as well. Okay, let's come on over to this side of the world. Adjust for their time frame. Okay, still dark over in that region. India is still pretty dark. This region filling in. All right, I want to check Taiwan here. It's turning more like the purple island of Java, I would say, don't you think? There's one little gray patch left. The rest of it is all pink and purple now, like Java is. So our little relief valve here, not had enough earthquake activity, is really springing to life is with the SO2 activity instead. And that's a fair amount of pressure being built up under there. We need a good quake in that area to relieve some pressure. Coming on down to Java, you can see it's all filling in nice and purple now. A lot of intense emissions coming out of there. Even here in the Sunda Strait, coming out of the water. So there's probably bubbles out here popping on the surface and a lot of SO2 emissions coming out, as well as up through Sumatra. And then these islands right here off of Sumatra now spewing SO2 as well. Then, really quick, let's take a look at Europe. Okay, and 7 years ago, there were four of these little tiny dots, like these little dots along the Sierra Crest, and the internet freaked out. And now we got millions of dots, and nobody seems to even notice. All right, but that's why I cover it. Now I want to come over here really quick, talk about this little island with its couple little two plumes, SO2 plumes. It helps relieve pressure on the plate boundary system right next to Fiji here. It's got SO2 plumes as well, and Hunga Tonga as well. All right, so all these little islands out here are coming to life. You see these ones over here too, spewing SO2. All right, so now what I want to do is change on over to our oceans sea surface temperature anomalies for okay. So last night we saw some quake activity up at the Juan de Fuca, and I've been waiting to see some results on this map. We do see a little bit more cold water inundation further south now than the fulcrum point. The fulcrum point's right here going out to this red spot. So we have seen some more cold water inundation going further south. I was hoping maybe some of these plumes in here would diminish a little bit, but we have so much pressure right here, right next to it. I mean, there's a huge monster right off the shore of Oregon, Washington, California. And it's spewing a bunch of hot water, magma, whatever, causing hot water plumes out there. You can see our cold patch. Here's Tamumasi, the biggest volcano on the planet, and all of its little sea mounts around it spewing columns of hot water, magma, causing these plumes. And come over here to Java, or not Java, to Taiwan, sorry. They just got over their typhoon. You can see yellow's creeping down a little bit through this region, doubling back a little bit through there. So it's starting to reach down towards this area. They still have some brown, which is like cooler water, but I do see pressure just north of it right there. So could use some activity, earthquake activity, like I said, around Taiwan at that fulcrum point right there to relieve even this pressure out here. You see this yellow plume growing? A couple of good mid-range fives right there could reduce a lot of that. Wow, look at Java now. No more cold water for a while, and we got this yellow plume right here growing just off the coast here. So pressure in that region, trying to vent the best it can, but it's still not enough. So we might see a new volcano open up or whatever. You already see something going on out in the water off of it. So it's still trying to be our relief valve, but not relieving fast enough. And you can see up here by Sumatra now these islands that had SO2 coming out of them. Well, you follow that island chain up. Well, the missing island would be right here, and we got a hot spot under the water forming another island. That's what's going on right there. There's another little seamount that's burst open on the seafloor and is spewing magma or steam or hot water or even could be, even metals and radioactive metals. That would be more like a bigger plume like this. But as you can see, these spots are opening up all along volcanic lines. Okay, over here to the Atlantic really quick. You can see this big old frayed mess that's over here now. Okay, these plumes down here by the equator getting very hot. So you got cold water right here at the equator. And then on this side of South America, on this side of the equator, is super hot. So what's going on there? What season are they in? Hot, cold? What's going on? Why is it so hot here and so cold right there, and it's right at the equator? Because we're having different activity going on. And you can see, look, this was all these little curl cues, the La Nina little wave cues coming back right through here, and it's all been disrupted by this hot spot right here. See, something opened up right there. There used to be a little blue comma, another blue comma, a perfect blue comma, another blue comma, another blue, and all that's been all jumbled up with a big hot spot right there in the middle. Do you see what I'm saying? It's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not like trying to lie to you or anything. I'm just showing you what's going on here. I'm going to put the winds on. You notice something? Here we are at the equator, yet the convergence zone is up here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Our intertropical convergence zone, where the air from the north meets the air from the south, has shifted up to this parallel, up to this latitude. Sorry. Crazy. Okay, so I'm trying to do my best here. I'm getting lost in the sauce. Let's get over here, and I'm just going to let that little conveyor belt system play for a second so you can look around and see heat signatures matching up with correlating rotation, as well as over on this side. Okay, and look at this. So over here we have blue water, cold water at the equator. Our intertropical convergence zone is now up at this latitude. Yes or no? Yes. They even came out with a paper saying, well, wind 150 miles. Looks a little more than that. But then right here in this hotspot region, notice how everything goes up and diverts around this whole area. Pretty weird, huh? There's like no activity going on in this area right here. Everything's going up and around it, kind of coming in and then just leaving. Very, very odd activity. There's something building going on down here. You can see this round reddish spot kind of growing right here. All right, so there's your vortex activity. And then, of course, the top of the planet. You can go down here, show you really quick the bottom. All right, so there is a lot of heat coming up from down below, trying to push through the crust. All right, we have all this volcanic activity on land. Well, we also have volcanic activity that's at the surface just underwater. Okay. So keep that on the back burner as we get into our earthquake report now. Coming into our deep quake region, just off of Fiji here, our typical mid-range 4 down at 533. Here's a 4.9 or sometimes a 5 here at 167, and a 5.3 at the surface on a plate boundary. So pressure down below came up a little higher and then put a 5.3 at the surface. Coming into this plate boundary, well, we should see a 5, but this little island reduces a lot of pressure. Excuse me. This little island right here reduces a lot of pressure, keeping the quake magnitudes and stuff down. We also have all kinds of volcanic activity along this line. Now, usually we see stuff in this plate boundary and on this island. Out here on this little mountainous ridge out there is new. This is new activity out here with a 5.4 at the surface. Let's go. There's not even a volcanic mount there or nothing. So if that's at the surface, we're about to see something, a new hotspot break open there. All right, let's come into this area. Sometimes deeper quakes here, but we have a 4.7 at the surface here. Coming on up this plate boundary, 4.8 down at 157. That's a volcanic feature. 4.8 at 110. That's a volcanic feature. 4.6 at 91. That's a volcanic feature. So volcanic activity or earthquakes at volcanic sites, indication of pressure down below coming up. Also, we've had a 4.5 here in Turkey at the surface. Got a very sharp fulcrum point coming in right there. But this whole area is very volatile as far as plate boundary structures. We'll have to watch that pretty close too. Okay, so that covers all of this. Whoops. No. I don't want all that. I want the map. Okay, meanwhile, we had a plate boundary quake here, a 5.0 on the mid-Atlantic ridge, relieving pressure. See, there's indication of pressure down below when we see quake activity on the mid-Atlantic ridge. 4.5 up there. I bet you Reykjanes is kind of waking up. We're getting activity there. Another plate boundary right here. That's a 5, definitely at the surface. Let's get on into America's all magnitude. What's going on over here? All right, cool. I'm glad to see you guys are doing good in the chat there. All right, now back to the program. So after we came over to Kamchatka, nothing along that whole region. A lot of volcanoes on this island going off right now. So pressure coming through this region comes out right here, 4.5 at Rat Island, down at 171. Definitely a volcano, Rat Island, and 171. So mid-range 4 activity at a volcanic site. Here we have a 5.1 down at 35. I want to see what you got. This big scar that comes through this mountain, just like a mountain ridge right here that runs along under the water. And there's a big valley or a big crack in this ridge, weak spot in it. And here's a 5.1, 35, just on one of those little branches of that weak spot right there. Coming over here, we got other pressure trying to come out the similar spot, 4.5, 4.0, and a 3.5. Okay, good. That relieves a lot of pressure right here in this region. Coming in, let's see what our biggest magnitude, a 4.3 still, huh? Came in there. Okay, if we could only get 4.3s again over here to relieve some of that pressure, but as you can see, very quiet, not even at the fulcrum point. But I want to come in and just kind of point out earthquake activity at Mount Rainier, earthquake activity at St. Helens again, indication of pressure down below when we got earthquakes at volcanic sites. Here's the geysers doing well, doing their job. Colville. All right, little activity out here in Nevada. Or no, this is still California, I guess. Our little almond-shaped feature here quakes right along the edge of it a little bit, just micro quaking, a little bit off of the coast here, 2.2. So pressure kind of rumbling around under this thing still a little bit. Let's come over to Texas. We had some current quake activity right here, but it was only 2.0 in New Mexico, 2 in Texas. Ooh, New Madrid Fulcrum Point quake, a 2.5 here at Tennessee on the New Madrid Fulcrum. Yeah, when we're seeing this activity right here, there's definitely some pressure starting to build underneath the whole plate here, and right along the edge of the craton right here, we might see some activity starting to creep, and some small, maybe two mid-range twos. This was a two, mid-range two. So two to mid-range twos possible through this little section as well. Just hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it doesn't, but you can see the possibilities there. Little magnitude check here. We're getting 3.7. What's this other one? 3.6. So a little uptick in magnitude in this region as well. You see this little flurry off the coast right here. These aren't microquakes. These are, threes and mid-range threes right here. So a little bit of energy being relieved right around this area, and an uptick in magnitude. It's pressure down below again, coming up. All right, Fulcrum Point, 4.3. Okay, I think that covers all of our quakes. Now we are going to get into our volcano report. Yeah, leave that. And let me get rid of the earthquake report. Thank you for your patience there. If I tried to put all these up in one sitting, my computer would freeze. 36 erupting and 32 in warning. That means warning, it's about to go off. That's 68 volcanoes. If I told you 7 years ago we'd have 68 volcanoes, you would say that's crazy. Well, now when I say the number 68, it just seems like another number, right? 68. Wrap your brain around that for a second. And 68 sounds crazy, but it's really happening, and I'm still crazy about you guys. All right, let's get it all. Maybe later. So, October 4th. October 4th. There's a red triangle on a map of white amongst the islands. That would be Suwanosejima volcano. Suwanosejima erupted at 2420 and up to 7,000 feet. Luotobi was 10,000 today. Semeru 14,000. Fuego 15. Sangay usually 20 or so. Reventador 15. Sabancaya usually over 20. That's just in the last few minutes. Here we are. This is actually today, well, which is now yesterday because, well, time flies at this channel. This is the map of insanity up here in the Kamchatka Peninsula. Sorry, we have Shiveluch, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, Karaminsky, Alade, and Ebico. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 erupting volcanoes. Those are all in red. So a lot of activity gets, or a lot of pressure gets relieved through those volcanoes in that system. Down in here, this is our little chain where we don't see a lot of earthquake activity anymore because we've got Aoba, Yasur, Matthew Island, Tinakula, and Aoba here. So a lot right there, right in there, all through Java area. That's a lot of volcanoes, you guys. Suwanosejima, 7,000. Manam, again, Manam and New Guinea on the map at 9,000. IBU at 8,000. Luotobi 10. Ducono back on the map at 10. Fuego 15. Nevada del Ruiz, Reventador at 16, Sabancaya usually around 20. All right, so there's that. Now we can do the weather. Where is my tidbits? Why did they take my tidbits away? Okay, get this forecast model out of the way, and then we can do the spiritual report. So, Let's go ahead and let that run. Maybe not. How about we just go back like this? Okay, so we're going to talk about our geomagnetic storm forecast at G3 for the next 3 days for 4, 5, and 6. So here we are, current conditions October 3rd. Here we go, October 4th. So any kind of geomagnetic enhancement would possibly start right around then. There could be enhancement to anything you see. There's a little bit of severe weather coming on the coast right here. That could flare up a little stronger than what they're showing on the map. Same with this one making landfall. They're showing some darker greens in here, and that's your 2.5 inch over on this side on this color chart. Okay, so just because there's not yellow in there, that can still be a very heavy downpour. Watch out for flash flooding in the mountainous regions here, just like we saw here. Okay, I really shouldn't raise my voice, but I'm getting frustrated at spelling this out. When water hits the mountains and it hits these valleys and the one face of the valley collects all that water, and the other opposing face of the valley collects all that water and funnels it down into the middle, increasing the height exponentially. It's not too hard to figure out. Your canyons, the steeper the walls, the bigger your mountain faces are, the bigger flash flooding you're going to have. It's time to take a look at how the water runs off of the topography in your area. If there were a flash flood, would it be coming down this channel? Would it ever overflow and go down this little creek, this little access? Look around in your topography as to where there was old streams, old creeks that used to run that are dry. Where'd that come from? When was there water flowing through here before? When there was a flash flood. Okay, so start looking around at where your water flows are going to go as opposed to where you are. And we're having heavier downpours. Each storm packs a lot more potential as far as amounts that are dropped as well. Sorry, but it's so frustrating to when people don't listen and understand. And now we got thousands, possibly thousands dead and missing. So it's getting very ugly. And a week before, I was like, hey, watch out in these mountainous regions, but nobody kind of gets it, or I don't know. They're getting it now, though. So here we are. Again, I'm sorry I'm rambling. The convection of October 4th. This little streak through here doesn't look like much, but watch out. That could flare up. We have G3 geomagnetic enhancement. It enhances the nucleation when the water wants to stick to a particle. When there's a lot of geomagnetic activity in the air, that water wants to adhere to that nucleation process, enhances. There's your convection at 5 o'clock on the 5th. Enhancement to possibly that. Most of this stuff is staying offshore and up here in Canada. But right here, 11 o'clock on the 5th. Well, around 11 o'clock on the 5th, we should be well into our geomagnetic storm, about to get hit with the X9. And you have this big old thing winding up over Canada. So mainly, I would start to warn these people up in Canada and along the northern border here, also along the coastline. But this thing winding up here there's the morning of the 6th. Now remember, enhancement there. That's enhancement at convection right there. This little blob over Florida. This whole thing's trying to rotate, and with a little bit of enhancement, a little kickstart there, that could be just enough to get that thing rotating. So let's pray this doesn't happen, but we have enhancement all the way up until there's the noon of the 6th, nighttime the 6th, or convection the 6th, and then the nighttime of the 6th. All right, so all the way through here with G3, geomagnetic storm enhancement to this, and then this big monster up in Canada. All right, now anything after this is kind of off the board, but we're going to go morning of the 7th, noon, convection, nighttime, 8th, noon, convection, nighttime 9th, noon, convection, nighttime 10th, noon, convection, nighttime 11, noon, convection, nighttime 12, noon, convection at 12. Kind of being lost in all the sauce here is the fact that the funneling effect from huge downpours in mountainous regions. Okay, it's not like 4 inches on flatland. When you get 4 inches in some rolling hills or something, or some foothills, it all collects and funnels, and you get quicker flash floods. And we saw how the storm trained in a bunch of moisture before it even made landfall. Okay, so it was all. You're buffering there. I'm not buffering, so it might be on your end. Yeah. So a lot of this moisture came down before the hurricane even approached. There was blossoms out in front of it. So they got hit over and over and over and over with rain in those mountainous regions. And I was trying to convey that message as hard as I could. Same with Ryan Hall and Max Velocity. Those two guys tried to convey that message as hard as they could. So us YouTubers out here tried to get that out there as much to as many people as we could. But our mainstream media fails miserably. A lot of these deaths can be attributed to our lack of knowledge due to our mainstream media. If we focused as much time as we're focusing on it now, if we'd have done that days before, we wouldn't have all the death. But nobody seems to take it seriously until it's too late, and then all of a sudden, we're looking back, going, "Well, how come we didn't do anything? How nobody warned us?" Well, there were people out there that were aware of it, that were screaming at the top of their lungs, trying to get the world's attention to say, "Hey, watch out for this! Watch out for this! Watch out for this! Watch out for this!" But it's almost as if they want this kind of I don't know. It's disheartening sometimes to see it coming and try to give the warning the best I can, and then just like I saw some people on TikTok that were in a flooded house, and the lady sticking her head out. Oh, I guess I should have listened. Yeah, you probably should have listened. Some of these communities still haven't been reached yet, and they're not going to have power for a long time. And when I said, "Hey, I would get out of there, I would evacuate," well, because now you can't. Once you're stuck in the mud, you're stuck in the mud. If you got out before the mudslide, you wouldn't be stuck in it. It's just, I can't watch it too much because I saw it coming. And now I see the side effects and everybody going, "Hey, what happened? How come we weren't, warned?" Oh, boy. All right, now let's move on. That's enough of this. Let's get into our spiritual report. You guys have put up with me enough here. Let's get this going here. You waited for this part. Now, actually, we're going to do a little history tonight on the whole spiel, the whole event, and why tomorrow is a big day on the spiritual calendar. And it does nothing to do with these clowns. Can't wait until this political season is over. Can't even get one. I didn't even want to play the video. I just wanted to pause it. I didn't need all those ads to pause one image. Okay. My face, real face, showing up by the sun, or by the moon, sorry. Now, let's take you back in time to September 10th of 2017, when we had our Revelation 12 star alignment just weeks away. Everybody was anticipating, what's going to happen? It's the Revelation 12 star alignment. Well, that's what should have been the focus, was the fact that it was a 2,000-year-old prophecy that came true. That means the prophecy's true. Uh-oh. But nobody seemed to catch that point. Oh, the prophecy's true. Oh, No, they just kind of went, oh, pretty star configuration, on to the next TikTok. Well, back then, all this weird stuff started happening to me, and it all started here on September 10th. So let's just kind of get into this really quick here. Most of you guys have already been here and know this, but we're going to play it anyways. This is the first time I was brought aware of these objects interacting with the sun.
Starts to move away. You'll see it cause a third flare. Boom. Here's our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here. Run this backwards. You can see it goes backwards. There's the second flare. Back behind the sun, comes back out. There's the first flare. So the mass of that object is sucking material off of our sun, causing these solar flares. Boom, right there. Back behind the sun. Comes back out. Second flare.
Okay, so back in this time frame, 7 years ago, there were 3 of these big objects. You saw the first 2. This was the third one. The first couple of flares were like the X10 and then a 9 something. And this third one, I forget what the power of it was, but it wasn't as strong as the other ones. Now, at this time, I had just started watching space weather because I was reading the Bible and it told me to watch the moon, the sun, and the stars. So I started checking out the sun, right? And I'm watching just regular CME activity like we all watch at Wages or whatever. And then we went into grand solar minimum. All right. So as we go into grand solar minimum, we kick out 3 giant X flares. That is way out of character for the sun, especially going into a grand minimum, not just any minimum, a grand solar minimum. And it kicks out 3 X flares. That tells me something wrong. So I come home one day and this image, this one with Nibiru on it. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not a Nibiru guy, all right? I've been plagued with UFO activity my whole life, all right? I was a ufologist. I seen people taking pictures of getting a lens flare and saying it's Nibiru. And I'm like, no, that's a lens flare. I knew what lens flares were way back before people even knew what they were because I was taking pictures back then. But then this pops up on September 10th, and this image right here is on my screen when I come home. I didn't turn on my computer. It was just sitting there. And I'm like, what is this doing on my computer? And then I looked at the date and I saw, oh, this is that third X flare. And I went to click away from it and poo-poo it because it wasn't the X10. It wasn't the big one. It was like the third one or whatever. And as I went to clear away from it, something said, Brian, there's something wrong with that image. And I looked back and I'm like, yeah, what is wrong with this image? And then I seen the darker core right here surrounded by plasma. You can see this little wing reaching back. This one's over on this side. It's kind of in orange and it blends in, but it's there. It's got a little wing on that side too. I don't know if you can see it too well, but this is 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign. All right. The dragon stood in front of the woman 13 days before the woman. It stood before the woman to devour her child. So here's the dragon of Revelation 12. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? And then I hear there's more. So I keep looking.
This looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that
Okay.
is this big object.
Now, after seeing this show many times, you can clearly see our plasma draping over a round spherical object. Here's the conduit of plasma that's sucking straight off the sun, slamming right into this conical cone-shaped tube of plasma slamming into the surface of this and then spreading out in a circular fashion. You can see light hitting it and bending and going over the top. Here's the stuff splaying off the top. All right. Now, this image took me a while to see. Everybody was so used to looking at these things two-dimensional, like this is just a flare reaching out. Well, what's this one reaching back for? What the heck is going on here? So it took a while to see this three-dimensionally. All right. But God showed me this. And then he says, you have to warn everybody. You know, I almost had a heart attack when I saw how big this thing is compared to our sun. Anybody that understands astrophysics understands that the sun is the most powerful thing in our solar system. It keeps everything in orbit and it controls everything. The only thing that can disrupt our sun is something stronger than it or something bigger. Well, here's that something bigger, and it looks to be a burned out. It's the core of a burned out star. Here's the core of a burned out planet that was rotating around it at one time. This thing, when it burned out, it stripped all the material off of this. It's still being sucked back towards it. And when it gets ionized, the little wings of debris that are shooting back towards it light up. Okay. And I was told to warn everybody. Now, that was a big thing. I didn't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. What am I going to say? Yeah, everybody, God showed me this, right? So after this, it took me a few days to get it all together and how I was going to produce a video and do this video right here that you're watching. Okay. So this is the day my life changed, September 10th of 2017. Then immediately after this, we had our Revelation 12 star alignment that I actually went outside and watched with my kids with a telescope and everything. So I witnessed it with my own eyes, and I'm like, wow, it's quite the configuration. If you know what you're looking at in the sky, it's like a beautiful display. I was like, no wonder why this was put in the Bible. Look at this. So we had the Revelation 12 star alignment. Then it talks about she gave birth to a male child. And this starts happening to me. And we'll get into the chronological. I'm trying to do it chronologically for you guys because this might be my last chance to ever do this. So, whoops.
He's here, right?
Wrong one. It was supposed to be the Mary Angels one. My bad. Right here.
My old pictures and stuff, and went.
Okay, so right after the Revelation 12 star alignment on October 4th of 2017, gee, that's today, October 4th, 7 years ago today, this event took place in my garage. All right, I want you guys to pay close attention to what took place in my garage on October 4th of 2017, 7 years ago today.
And further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one, and we're going to zoom in to this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
Being born in my garage. Ever since this event, my life has been, well, tribulation. And if since this day a bunch of tribulation has started in my life, and we're at the 7-year anniversary of that tribulation, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to be around with you guys much longer. Now, what else happened? This happened on the 4th, today, 7 years ago today, and then the very next day, after I made the video, because that event happened, I made the video.
Alrighty, folks,
the
welcome
5th.
back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel, the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here, and you can even see his head right here.
Okay, that's the spiritual realm right there. What you're looking at, electromagnetic residue left on our digital cameras. Okay, and what you're looking at is a real event. This took place on October 5th, the day after the 4th. Okay, so that little baby was born on the 4th in my garage right over here. And then this event happened the next night. Okay, because I reported on that object. Then this anointing ceremony is what you're looking at.
I'm going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just...
Well, I just described. Now, along the chronological line, we also had some other angels showing up, like this little one right here.
One solar gadget save your life in a crisis?
No.
This pocket-sized power plant.
Only God will save your life in a crisis.
Folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right, about 45 degrees, you can make out
First of all, this angel is laying at this angle in the air. Okay, so it's important that you tilt your head to that angle to see this.
The head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can. Okay.
It's got
this
a face.
Is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So zoom in on it again. Just excited that you can see it a lot clearer now because down below here. So
right there's a good shot of it. Okay, again, you're looking at the real spiritual realm. Okay, this is not fake. This is not computer generated or AI generated or any of that stuff. This is real stuff, and that's what you need to understand, that you're looking at the real stuff. You see this little demon face back here, these little eyes. I didn't point that out in the video, but this little thing's trying to give the kid bad dreams or whatever, and this little angel comes in, guardian angel, protecting this kid while he's sleeping.
Zoom in on it again. Just excited that you can see it a lot clearer now because before it was kind of faint, and now with these filters I'm able to make these images pop a little bit more for you guys so you can see them. I'm sorry about the way I have to do it with the camera and the computer, but I don't have any other option. So
okay, so there's a beautiful little angel.
I just wanted to bring this angel
hovering over this sleeping child. Okay, and throughout the course of all of this, weirdness happening, paranormal activity happening, no one's believing me. And I'm like, wait, I got a video that you could see. You can actually see it on the thing, but nobody would look. They were like, oh no, you're crazy. You need to be sent off to an asylum or something because angels aren't real. And I'm like, well, wait a second, they are. Where am I going on this one? Oh, favorites, that's right. So around this time frame, we're capturing angels over sleeping children. So I took the camera and pointed at the couch, hoping to catch angels over sleeping children. Well, one night my kids were down in the lower garage here or playroom, and they had a brand new toy, and they were going to play all night with this toy. And I went down about an hour later, and they're out cold. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are these kids sleeping? It's 7 o'clock at night. And they went back up to the house and went to bed. I thought, that's odd. And then the next day, I thought, wait a second, they were sleeping on the couch. I got the camera pointing right at the couch. I wonder if I captured anything. So I went through each frame, and I saw this little streak right here. And I thought, well, something went through there. But then it wasn't until I put all the frames together in a flip book that you could see that this picture is warping and twisting. Do you see that? There are two angels right here. This is a wing coming up and going down. This is the shadow inside the cup of the wing. Okay, and there are two angels on their knees bowing. There's another wing coming up over here, and they're locked wing and wing bowing. If you stare like back here and look at it out of the periphery of your eye, it's hard to look straight at it. So if you just kind of stare at these boards in the back, you'll see the two angels bowing right there. And let me give you a quick little demonstration so it might make things a little easier to see. Let me do this really quick here. So I got this little angel right here, and well, let's just push this back for a second. Inside the cup of the wing of this little angel in here, inside the cup of this wing, oh wait, I can move this out of the way, is a little shadow area inside the wing, and it's on its knees bowing like this right there, and you can see this area right here is the dark area right there is the inside of the wing. Hopefully, it takes a minute to see it, but hopefully you guys can see There's two angels there on their knees bowing. But angels only bow to God. Okay, so we got all these angel activity going on. And no one believing me, yet I capture it where you can totally see it, but I can't get 5 minutes of anybody's time. That's why it's important. I thank you for your time at this channel, because doctors, judges, police officers, everybody I've dealt with couldn't get 5 seconds of their time to just see the most important information ever in their lifetime. There we go. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. All right, so there was this event that took place right around the time we were having angels showing up with Mary and the God Eye and all kinds of weird stuff. Then not only are we capturing angels, but there is other activity going on as well. All right, now warning, this is going to show some demons in the other side of the spiritual realm. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on for a minute here. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I've been going through some more of these pictures and running them through the filter and stuff. And not only were we finding angels and Mary and stuff, but there's also demons, and I've also found Satan in this stuff too. So as we're looking here at this picture, what I'm talking about is in this mosaic of blotchy white dots that you see this picture is comprised of. When you zoom in really tight in on a picture, you'll see that it's made up of these splotchy little patches and dots. These new digital cameras make these little blotches. Well, hiding in these blotches are faces. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an eye right here and an eye right here. And when you make eye contact with these two eyes right here, you'll see the mouth fall into place down here. It's snarling. If you look, it's got some kind of streaks or horns or something or wrinkles coming out of its head up here. And this is some kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities, but this is what I'm talking about, and hopefully you can see this here. This is a pupil right here of an eye. This is a pupil of a bigger eye. Here's the whites of the eye, the white of this eye. These two eyes. Once you look at those, you'll see it falls into place. Maybe I'll pull back a little bit. You can see a little bit better. Zoom in. Right about there is good. And you can make out there's teeth here in this mouth. There's a corresponding mouth with these eyes, wrinkles going across the nose here. This is some kind of demon or principality. And it's tucked in the way in the corner of this picture, way back up in here. And you can't even see it as in a normal picture, but you zoom in, swing it over, zoom in, and you can see this face just appear. And there's more faces in this stuff too, but this one's really, really defined and pretty dominant in this picture. So I want to start off with that one. Hopefully you guys can see this one. Okay. So in this sequence here, I've got my camera pointed at the couch now because I've been capturing activity around this couch. And one night I was just sitting on my couch there praying, and wasn't really thinking of capturing anything. Here I was just sitting here praying before I started taking pictures or doing my thing, and it was already running. And lo and behold, there's some kind of demon up here. You'll see some green wings over here kind of flapping, and it lifts up my bike and spits a bolt of energy on it. And I had no idea this happened until I went back through my pictures and stuff. And I put this series into motion in a flip book, and I realized, oh my goodness, look what happened. It picked up my bike and spit a bolt of energy on it. This one, you can't really see the face too well, but you can make out the wings kind of flapping. We'll pull it over this way a little more. There we go. And this thing turns, picks up my bike,
lifts it up and spits a bolt of energy on it.
Real poltergeist activity.
Okay, there's that. I'll let you look at that one for a second longer.
My bike broke the next day, too. Like this thing's trying to kill me.
Okay, in this series here, I'm sitting on the couch again praying, the camera's set up, and you'll see a purple streak, a bolt come in here, right there, boom, and it hurt. You can see my reaction to it. So we'll let it run again. Here I am sitting here praying. There's all kinds of stuff jumping around in the background, and then zap right there. And that was a real one. I could feel it. And now when I go back, we're gonna go back to the top of that bolt and zoom in on the face. Okay, so here's the frame out of that sequence of me getting hit with that bolt. You can see the bolt coming down here. It's got a kind of a purple hue to it or whatever. And then we're gonna start zooming in to the face up top here, and it's gonna be Satan's face. So you guys ready to see this?
Yeah, a little warning.
If not, you might wanna stop the video at this point. But I do not glorify this at all. I do not like to give him attention, but it's important to know that he's real, because he wants everybody to think that he's not real. I think you might be able to see this face without me pointing anything out yet. There we go. Okay, so let me zoom out so I can see it. If you look right here at this eye, this is his crazed eye. The other eye on the other side is bigger. It's the all-seeing eye. It's a little out of proportion, but then you can make out the side of his face, his jawline coming down, the bottom of his chin, his face going up here. Here's his mouth with some evil kind of grin on it. You can see his ear coming out over here. You can make out horns coming up. And this is in that mosaic of dots again, but these faces pop out and they're more prominent. You can see this one really stands out. And that's Satan right there. You can even make out some wings coming up here.
You'll see when we pull back a little bit, you'll see the wings.
And he's mad. He's mad because I'm praying. And he's spitting bolts of energy at me and spitting on my bike and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's important that you guys know that this entity is real. He's here right now, causing chaos all over the place. I'm sure you guys can see that. And I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm just doing this to inform you guys that this is what I'm capturing, and this stuff is real, and you can see it attacking me.
Because of who I am.
Just another few seconds here on this guy so you can see his face. Make out his ear over here, corresponding horns, eyes, smile, everything. That's Satan right there with his wings, spitting some kind of bolt or something at me. Bam. Okay.
And that was probably October, November time frame, maybe right around there. I don't have a date on this one, or I can't see a date on this picture, but it was right after the angels and stuff. Then this stuff starts happening as well. And then not only is it happening all around my house, but now it follows me in the sky everywhere I go.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So these faces that I've been showing you in the last few videos that are in the etherical or in that mosaic that I was talking about are not only taking place there, but now they're taking shape in our clouds. And with this new filter, I was able to go through some of these pictures, and it really makes them pop now. So if you can't see it yet, There's an eye here, an eye here. Here's the nose, a mouth down below. Here's an ear coming back up, the jaw running down, little pointed chin. And this face
trying to
seems
capture
to
it.
almost be bisected. One half is like a goblin, and this other half looks like almost like a Wolverine or a Ewok type character. So I'll let you look at that for a minute. And this was pretty faint in the original picture, but now with the filter, it really makes it pop. So hopefully you guys can see that now. And then I'm going to bring you some more. And just real quick here, I wanted to show you the unfiltered version. This is the original right here compared to this one right here.
And all that does is highlight brightness and darkness to make things, colors stand out a little bit more. That's all that filter does.
Okay, one more. And this one right here, you can make out we have an eye here and an eye right here. Here's the nose, and here's some lips. And it looks like he's blowing. You can make out his ear over here. Horns and stuff coming up. His eyebrows.
Okay, then we're gonna come over here really quick. Let me just kind of take you to what happened there. Because we had, where did it go? I think it's this one. No, that was the Grinch one. Where's the one? Oh, wait, right here, probably. So, here's this image that we just looked at right here. This face right here, you can see the eyes and stuff and the ear. That's the picture right there. But a few frames before, it was looking like a wolf. Do you see the ear here, the eye, the other eye, the snout, the mouth open, puffing and pluffing? Can you see a wolf face right there? Hopefully you can see that that was started off. Here, let's go up here. It's even better. As a wolf. Now, when all this stuff started happening to me, it almost felt like I was crying wolf. And here it is, the wolf. And I'm not just crying wolf. It's really real. Okay? And that's what the doctors and everybody was having trouble understanding is like, hey, this isn't a joke. This is real. This is really happening to me. You know, and they're like, nah, you're on drugs. You're hallucinating. Here, take some of these drugs instead. You know, I'm like, what, are you guys crazy? Why don't you just look for 5 minutes? Can you see the wolf? Here, let's go to this one. It's still there. And it progresses into that face. So I'm not just over here crying wolf. There's a real wolf. Okay? Can you see it? There's a real wolf. And then it turns into this demon face. Huffing and puffing, blowing clouds out. The spiritual realm is in charge of the weather, not man. Man's probably trying to dilute it or direct it or diminish it whatever kind of way he can. But you're up against spiritual forces that you just operate in a theater, you can't. And then we got this little guy, face drops in and comes down, pops out of the trees, smiling at me. I mean, you can see it's got a row of teeth. You can see the eye and the pupil. Big old long nose. You can't miss that nose, can you? And this thing had similar ears, too. Let me get it. Where's another picture where his ears pop out or something? Well, maybe not. Oh, right here. Yeah, I got these faces in the clouds that follow me, watch me, and study my every move everywhere I go. Okay, because of who I am. We got this character from Star Wars here, the little vertical slit in his eye over here. Seen that one before. Okay, so we had this activity now has moved to the clouds. And now everywhere I go, giant faces follow, watch me, and study my every move. Okay, because of what happened and who I am. Now we're going to go back to these progression here. You guys still hanging with me? You're okay? Yeah, a few people even, but that's all right. This is more for the historical record now, in case I don't hang out much longer with you guys. So where are we going now, Lord, after the cloud stuff? Oh, yeah. So, UFOs and angels. Okay. So here we are at this video. I take a lot of pictures of the clouds, right? And I told you I've been plagued with UFO activity ever since I was a child. Okay. When I was about 4 years old, I saw a silver disc in broad daylight watching me. Okay. And at 4 years old, nobody ever told me what a UFO or a flying saucer or whatever that was, but I instinctively already knew. And I knew it was watching me. And ever since, I've been plagued with UFO activity my whole life. Now, in this frame here, you see this eye starting to form right here. And you can see that there's a big face. There's going to be the mouth right here. There'll be a nose in this area pretty soon. This big face is starting to form in the sky right here. So I pull out my camera and I start to take some pictures. But what else was captured is...
Oh, let's just get to it. I'm going to squeeze a bunch of pictures into one video here. So I started seeing this event right here unfold, and I was looking at this spiral cloud and snapping pictures of that, but something else appeared in this picture, and I'm going to pull over to this little object that's hovering over the mountain here. Okay, so we got a nice clear UFO black disc floating in the sky next to this event. Okay, so there's that one. Okay.
Some of this video is stuff that's really hard to see. I'm just trying to get to some of the UFO captures here. Just so you get a
black UFO. It's hanging out next to this angel.
Note this is frame number 1 up here, 001. And UFOs are real, by the way.
Angel up there in the cloud.
Wait until you see one with your own eyes. Then you can't take your eye off the sky. But there's an angel in the clouds back here. Can you see it?
Okay, so there's that image, and this was the first picture of the day. This was the first image on the 27th. And then here's the second image from the same day, and it's still there. So I managed to capture it in 2 different images, the same object in the sky, in the same place, in 2 images back to back. Okay, just real quick here, I was taking a picture of this little round rainbow type effect, and as we zoom in, we caught another UFO sitting there. As taking pictures, this is just sitting in the sky. So there's that one.
Okay, so that's just, I used to have 80 hours of footage back when I was a ufologist. All right, so much evidence it would make your head spin, and nobody seemed to care, so I just kind of stopped doing it. And all this stuff started happening anyway, so. But yes, UFOs are real. I've been plagued with it my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. And I was kind of wondering why I was able to see them and other people couldn't. I'm like, dude, it's right there. How can you not see it? And they're like, nope, I don't see it. So they're very selective of who sees what and what gets captured. Just real quick, there's another little thing there captured in one of my pictures. So a lot of my pictures have UFOs in them, and I just don't go showing a bunch of them because that's not what this is all about. It is part of the story, but it's not all. Okay. That's why UFOs are being introduced to the public now. They're getting you guys part of the story. So, then, oh, we also have, oh, no, it's right down here. Where to go? These guys.
And that's this one right here. And it looked like it was this actual model being pulled out from behind the sun. So, I did a stream yesterday and I was looking for a thumbnail for it, and I couldn't match up any pictures, wouldn't match up. And it wasn't until I started digging deeper into my pictures and I pulled up this one right here that I used as a thumbnail on my latest stream. That's when it occurred to me, this thing sitting next to this one, they're the same object. It's the same thing.
It's the same craft.
Whoever made this craft right here is here now. And what I thought was a man standing on the plane before is actually one of the vertical stabilizers that comes out at an angle, kind of like an F-18's vertical stabilizers. They're not straight up and down vertically, they come out at an angle. Well, much like that, so do these ones right here. And what I thought was a man standing up is this vertical stabilizer right here.
Okay. These are artifacts that were discovered. These people made these little gold toys or something, little trinkets for their kids of an encounter that they had 1,000 years ago. All right. This is an advanced race that has the capability of flight 1,000 years ago. All right. So advanced races from the past are following me in the clouds, watching me, studying my every move. All right. I got giant faces, UFOs, advanced races from the past that watch, follow, and study my every move. After a while, at first it was so unnerving, but now I've gotten used to it here. So, now after that, we also have, oh, get this. Okay. Yes.
Yes, and I've been taking pictures every day because I've been seeing these events unfold in the sky every day now. So I've been getting lots of pictures and not even enough time to process them yet, but here we go. So this one I saw unfolding when I was driving, and I couldn't take a picture until I got to this stoplight. So I squeezed off as many pictures as I could at this stoplight, and we're gonna start zooming in, pulling it over a little bit.
Okay, we're going to freeze it right there. This giant Yoda head here. There's an eye right here, an eye here, that weird pointed ear again, like we've seen in several of these pictures. Short, stubby nose, real stubby chin, his big old bulbous head with all the wrinkles going across it. Okay, so there's a giant Yoda head right there in the sky. I'm going to go ahead and finish playing this a little bit more.
Maybe some of you see it now, but there's Yoda in the sky right there. Yes. And this is like one of these pictures that's multi-dimensional too. So if you tilt your head to the right a little bit and make this an eye now, it turns into a gremlin or one of the little mogwais before he's eaten after midnight.
Also, while it's right here, you can barely capture it. There's the young lion from what's the Disney one? Simba, a young Simba right here in the clouds too, sharing an eye with this gremlin type Mogwai. If you change his eye from up here to down here, all of a sudden it becomes one of the gremlins before you feed it. Did you notice how they all have the same similar pointed long ear that comes flat off the top?
Oh, we had this sitting in the sky. Now, I'm used to seeing angels and dragons and stuff, biblical stuff. So this one caught me off guard. And even though it's, not part of the story or whatever, it's still in the sky. So I'm going to bring it to you. And maybe this is an entity, or there's an actual character, Yoda, that lives out there in the universe.
Okay, Yoda was an ascended master, right? He's a Jedi master who teaches peace. Wars make not one great. There's a lot of subliminal messaging in Star Wars as far as the Bible is concerned, and a lot of the storyline goes. Okay, and but Yoda here passed away and is in the storyline is an ascended master. He's an ascended master that watches and follows and studies my every move because of who I am. All right, I got advanced races from the past. I got UFOs. I got Marian angels. I got ascended masters like Yoda that watch, follow, and study my every move. Much like you guys do here. You follow on YouTube, you watch my videos, and then you study these images, right? Okay, so from here, then things start getting into the area where you're used to seeing now. We're just kind of backstorying, catching you up to how we got to this point right here. We're now... Oh, come on. Now, my face is showing up in the clouds. All right, so with this one.
Folks, welcome back. So snapping some pictures of the clouds yesterday, and I noticed something forming in the clouds. What looked like a face over here. And I'm going to start zooming in on this face because it's a real face. And if you look back behind it here, let's zoom in just a little bit. You'll notice that back behind here, this face is being projected by Jesus's heart right here. You can see it radiating out. Here's Jesus's face. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out this image in the sky. See his face here? And there's a crown right here. Also in the etherical, in black, there's another crown right here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this picture. Isn't this amazing? And this face, I recognize this face. I know who this is. I know who this face is. I see him every morning in the mirror. That's not all. I got another one. And a few moments later, in this image, I took a picture of the same cloud, but this is at a different angle. I rotated it 90 degrees. And I want you to look right up in here. You can see that there's a face, two eyes, smile. Here's the head. And the arms are outstretched, and he's holding a cell phone taking pictures of the sky. This is an image of me taking the pictures of the clouds. So the clouds are now mimicking me taking pictures of them. Pretty crazy. Tilt your head to the right a little bit and you can see it a lot clearer. And just to kind of go in on these eyes, because they're there in the face. That's what my eyes must look like when I'm looking up at this stuff in amazement, just going, wow, no way. And then we'll pull back, and you'll see that that's part of this face. Just holding out a cell phone, taking pictures.
Now I got a shattered
It's
shoulder.
me taking pictures of the clouds.
I got a shattered shoulder, 2 torn rotator cuffs. So to hold my arms up with a cell phone for like an hour, I bet you can't even do it for 10 minutes. All the blood rushes out of your arm, your heart rate doubles. You feel like you're going to pass out. And it's hard to hold your arms up. And this is the pain. It's showing the pain that I'm going through. It's reflecting the suffering to hold my arms up to take these images, because a lot of this stuff comes together. It like a cloud over here and a cloud over here will come together and make something. So you have to hold it up. The moment I drop the phone, everything stops kind of gelling and coming together. So it's not until I'm in a fair amount of pain that a lot of these things start really kind of forming and coming together. Okay. And this kind of shows my arm shaking a little bit because, I'm struggling to hold up the cell phone and take these pictures, but that's what's going on. Now my face is showing up in the clouds, right? And it's all being propagated from back here, Jesus' his heart, right? This is one of the images that we read to. Okay, so it progressed from all this stuff to this phase now. And I'm going, whoa, now my face is showing up in the clouds. This is trippy. Then, as we continue, what's the next one? Happy Easter. This is what it's called. All right, I believe this one right here. Now, day before Easter.
Let's see how it works.
Oh,
Hey Garrett, this is Steve.
I'll show you how it works, Steve. Why don't you come on over to my
And
channel?
disappeared.
Okay, so I showed you the UFO activity that follows me everywhere I go. So I go into the Walmart one night to get some drinks or whatever, and my kids take this picture while I'm in the store. My son goes, "Hey, Dad, this UFO cloud-looking thing dropped out of the sky when you got out of the truck. So when you weren't here, I took some pictures of it." Well, what was captured along with this cloud is what I want to point out here. So here we go.
Here that I have from my spirit videos, and it's what I call like the etherical realm. And I want you to look right here at this dot and this dot. This is a set of eyes. I'm going to pull it over a little bit. We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth, the eyes,
The flange.
the face, the horns of a dragon. I'll pull back a little bit. And I'll zoom in. Can you see the dragon?
Right there's good. The dragon is real. Okay? Dragons are real. There it is right there. There's the dragon. Showed up the day before Easter. My kid captured it in this cloud right here. Okay? You see the eyes, you see the nostrils right here, the mouth and the teeth. Okay, the mouth is open. You can see the flange or the little, well, I just call it flange. It's around the side of the face right here. And if you can't see that, then, well, maybe you need some glasses. But right there, this happened the day before Easter. And then the next day, I posted this. And then that night, I went down there to the same spot, and we captured this. We captured this at the same place the next day.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
On Easter.
So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now. Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter, when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it. See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event, and I'm going to show you more of what happened here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it.
Okay, this stuff happens in a different dimension. It's too big in your face. If you could step outside your body and walk a mile back and get that perspective, then you might see it. But you're stuck inside your body, and your eyes cannot see this all that well because it's in a different dimension. It's too big in your face. It has to be compressed and shrunk down in order to see them a little clearer. I mean, you can still see them, but they're so big that, until they're compressed. Okay, so this event took place here on Easter. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true. Okay, now what I've been showing you, each one of these things that I've been showing you is a miracle, right? When you see these things, these are real miracles. This is the real spiritual realm. This really is happening still to me, to this very moment. Okay, and now we're going to get into something, the last little thing that connects all of these dots. These angels also are messengers. And they told me I need to look up my birth date, and that my birthmark was a mortal wound I suffered in a previous life. So let's do this really quick.
Right. So, howdy folks, welcome to my video. My name is Brian Knight, and I've been struggling with this for a while on how to do this video. So please bear with me here. So first off, I want you to look at my ID here, so you know who I am.
Okay, I am indeed a person. My name is Brian Knight. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. But I kept seeing my birthday all over the place. And I thought, other people see their birthday. Of course, it's natural, right? But then the angel told me I need to research my birthday. And I'm like, okay, what is it about my birthday? Well, March 21st is the first day of spring, the vernal equinox. Jesus is the spring. He's the promise of new life. So he rose 3 days later. 3 days later than what? 3 days after what date? What date? What date is 3 days later from? Well, everybody's looking at the biblical calendar. God works on a celestial calendar. Okay, the vernal equinox is the first day of spring. 3 days later, 21 plus 3 is 24. March 24th is 3 days after spring. Hello, ring a bell, 3 days after spring, anybody? 70 is all over the Bible. My birthday is in the Bible. The Bible's about my birthday, you guys. All right. Then I find out that my birthmark is a mortal wound I suffered in a previous life. So here's my birthmark.
Religious scholars and psychics.
I didn't know about this. I went and researched this stuff, birthmarks. Go look up that stuff. You guys do some research so you don't just take my word for it.
Wounds suffered on your body.
Well, you should take
in
my
a
word.
previous life comes back on your next body as a birthmark. And this is the birthmark that I have on the side of my chest. See?
It's a stab wound.
I'll show you a different image here too. There it is again. Okay.
Right in the spot where it's supposed to be. Everybody in Hollywood's all portraying it down here by the stomach. No, 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 no. He punctured the heart, not the liver. Up here. This is a stab wound. It has 3 faces in one birthmark. I didn't even know I had this. It was hidden under my arm my whole life, and I didn't even know I had it.
See? Okay. There it is again. And just to prove that this is me, I'm going to go over here.
You know that face out by the moon?
Is hi. Okay, here we go.
Let's just get to it right.
Light's too bright. Maybe if I did it like this. There it is. See?
Try to get the faces. There's one right here with 2 eyes, nose and a mouth, 2 horns. There's this guy with a beard and long hair. And then there's in the etherical, in another realm, 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth and a face in white right there. So let me back this up and you'll see the 3 faces all in one. Okay. Let me just play that one more
There
time.
it is. See? That's the mark. All right. So I showed you Mary and angels in my garage. I showed you demons and Satan in my garage. I've shown you the Nemesis system of Nibiru.
These giant faces follow me in the clouds, UFO activity, descended masters. Gee, I wonder
All
why.
this evidence. Now I'm showing you the mark.
Okay, there it is. And I could take the camera over to the mirror right now, but you could already see it there. All right, all because of who I am. Starting to figure out who I am yet? Is it starting to click? Did that last little video kind of connect all the dots for you so you can understand that when we do this part of the show right here, how important this is for your future and for your present too as well. We're already doing work, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're already doing work. Now, I got that image. This, the moon one, please pull that up, Lord, without commercial and everything. Oh, get it out of the way.
Trump
Come on.
or Harris. Harris.
Oh,
I really
no,
like
no,
that
no,
Harris
no.
is cutting taxes.
I read about Trump.
About muting. There we go. Sorry, I just had to pull up the image one more time. And why do we always have to have political ad for a freeze frame. I wasn't even going to play the video. It was paused on this image. Why do we have to have all these ads? I know why. I know why. Because they don't like me. All right. Let's get one more going. Oh, the other one was the heart one. Okay, so now you understand where these images come from and how they came about and how real they are. That's what I'm trying to show you, is how real this stuff is, because that's where you're going to get your security. In trusting me and believing me, understanding what is happening to me. And when you do, then you understand what's happening to you and who you are. And why I keep saying you are part of a precious family. All right, there's our reading material. Did you guys get that? Did you like that? Hopefully you did. Okay, so I know all about you guys, all right? But you're getting to know me. And as you come to know me more intimately, you grow increasingly aware of your sins. This presents you with a choice: to focus on your flaws and failures, or to rejoice in my glorious gift of salvation. When you keep your focus on my sacrifice for your sins, you live in the joyful awareness that you are wonderfully loved. The joyful awareness. Are you guys joyfully aware now? Good. Okay, you have a choice. You can either focus on your flaws and failures, or you can rejoice in this gift of salvation. Choice is yours. Now, when you keep your focus on my sacrifice for your sins, you live in that joyful awareness that I just gave you. There is no greater love than mine, and it is yours forever. And the best response to such a fathomless gift is to love me with all your heart. Tragically, many people think they have little or even nothing for me to forgive. They've been deceived by the prevailing lie that there is no absolute truth. They believe good and evil are relative terms, so they see no need for a savior. These deluded people do not seek my forgiveness, and their sins remain unpardoned. The evil one's deceptions have darkened their minds. But I am the light of the world, and my light can shine through you into their lives. Because you are my follower, you never walk in darkness. You have the light of life. If you walk in that light, close to me, living from my perspective, if you walk in this light right here, living close to me, my blood continually cleanses you from all sin. So when you become aware of sins, I want you to confess them to me and seek my help in making needed changes. Nonetheless, your status with me is not based on confessing your sins quickly enough or thoroughly enough too, okay? I already know it doesn't need to be super right away. You're not being thoroughly, you confess your sins. It's not based on your performance. The only thing that keeps you right with me is my perfect righteousness, which I give to you freely and permanently when you joined my eternal family. And since you are mine, gloriously attired in a robe of righteousness, I invite you to come confidently into my bright presence. Walking in the light of my presence blesses you in many ways. Good things are better, and bad things become more bearable. Do you understand? The good things become better, and the bad things become more bearable. Okay, they don't disappear, they just become more bearable. And when you share, especially when you share them with me, okay, the good things get better when you share them with me, and the bad things become more bearable when you share them with me. As you delight in my love light, you can love other believers more fully and have fellowship with them. Not just talk, you can really have true fellowship with them. You are less likely to stumble or fall now because sins are glaringly obvious in my holy light. So rejoice in my name all day long, enjoying my presence and exulting in my righteousness. Okay? Enjoying my presence. Yeah, we're leaving it on that one right there still, yeah. I want you to see that. See that light? That I am the light from on high that dawns upon you to give light to those who sit in darkness. Sometimes your circumstances are so difficult and confusing that you feel as if you're surrounded by darkness. Your mind offers up various solutions to your problems, but you've already tried them without success. So you fret and wonder what to do next, feeling helpless and frustrated. And at times like this, you need to look up and see my light shining down upon you. Gaze at me in childlike trust, resting in my presence. Let go of problem-solving efforts for a while. Cease striving and just know that I am God. And as you relax in my presence, remember that I am the Prince of Peace. The more of me you absorb, the more peaceful you will be. Take a deep breath and breathe me in with each breath. And after resting with me for a while, tell me about your troubles, trusting me to help you with them. So stay close to me, and I will guide your feet into the way of peace. Okay. If you're here at this channel, you get to rejoice that your name is written in heaven, in the book of life. You signed up. You signed in the book of life. You came over here and decided to follow, watch, and study. So you signed in when you came in. When you're in the chat room, that's you signing in. Did you know that? Do you know when you put your little thing in the chat room and you say hi to each other, you're signing into the book of life? You are, because you are mine. You have joy that is independent of your circumstances now. You have received eternal life that will never be taken away from you. Those who are justified through faith in me as their risen Savior are also glorified. And there is a very real sense in which you are already seated with me in the heavenly realms. You are already seated with me in the heavenly realms. There is a very real sense in which you are already seated with me. Joy is the birthright of all who belong to me. It can coexist with the most difficult, heart-rending circumstances. So come to me each day with open hands and an open heart, saying, Jesus, I receive your joy. Then wait with me a little while while the light of my presence shines on you, soaking into the depths of your inner being. Thus, I strengthen you, preparing you for the day that stretches out before you. So as you journey through each day, return to me for fresh joy as often as you need, because I am a God of unlimited abundance. So I always have more than enough for you. Okay? Hopefully you guys hear that. You understand it. You grasp those concepts. And when you come here to this channel willingly to learn more, you are writing your name in the book of life. And rejoice that your name is written in heaven. Believe me, and it is. Trust, belief. That's what it's been about the whole time. That's why it was so important from the day one, and I couldn't get 5 minutes of anybody's time, right? Well, now you see how important that trust and belief is, because now you guys are reaping the benefits of it, aren't you? And the more you come to know me, the more intimately you know me, you grow increasingly aware. Okay? What was the other thing I wanted to tell you guys one more time? What was the one I wanted to tell you one more time here? I had a special message for them. Where'd it go? I got such staggered notes that are all over the place, and then I tried to slam it all together. Where did I put that? Okay, right here. It presents you with a choice. The choice. Either focus on your flaws and your failure, or rejoice in the glorious gift of salvation. The gift of salvaging your day every day, knowing that you're already signed in, okay? While we wait, we still work patiently, patient endurance, trying to salvage each day. As these days keep getting harder and harder with the news that's coming through the media, remember, you're the one plugging into it, right? So if it starts to become too much for you, turn it off, walk away, take a minute, do some deep breathing, pray. It's to take your mind off of the circumstances. Look, no matter what the circumstances are, you already have victory. Okay? You're just jogging towards the finish line. Just keep going. All right? You realize that you're a contestant in this race, that you're like a marathon runner with a number on their jersey. Everybody else is a bunch of contestants watching the runners, but you're actually in the race running, and you don't have much longer to go. You've made it this far, so don't give up. You got to keep going anyways, or else you're just going to slip into that pit of self-pity and depression. So keep your chin up. Try to endure patiently, understanding that these tribulations bring strength. When you endure these and you overcome these tribulations, these trials in your life, each one you overcome is a glory, is a little achievement that gives you a little bit of self-esteem inside. You get a little more courage. You get a little more faith, and this blossom grows, and it keeps growing and growing. Okay? And as we do this, it's not easy. Okay? It's not your performance. It's your willingness to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time sometimes. Okay? This isn't easy. Spiritual warfare is the hardest thing there is on this planet. Seen a lot of military members cave under this pressure. They can't. This is not even in that realm. So you guys are spiritual warriors operating in a theater that most people can't. Okay, and you're finding that peace that transcends your circumstances. You know your ultimate destination. Okay, and all you're doing is collecting a bunch of glories along the way, some achievements that you never did during the course of your lifetime. Now you're achieving them, huh? Okay, and you're doing really well. Every single one of you is doing well. Okay, there are no baby steps in this process. Everybody has a different pace. Every step is ginormous, so it's not a baby step. The more you come to grasp these concepts and understand who I am, the more peace you get in return. The more you lean in on me, the more peace you get out. The more you trust in me, the more courage you have, the more it transcends your circumstances. You now see your pain as badges of courage. You're enduring this painful process with your head up, taking it on, and maturing and growing from it, where other people are faltering. They won't have the strength to stand on that day, where you will. You'll understand what's going on. You'll be like, I'm not going to be a part of that. I already know my destination. I'm all good. I'm just finishing my race is all. Okay. So you guys keep your chin up, keep fighting, keep positive. I know it's not easy. It's just progress, not perfection. And if it doesn't happen on that one day and you're working as hard as you can to salvage and it just didn't happen, try taking a nap or even just going to bed and working the next day. Usually a brand new day is a brand new start. And we just keep trying each day. It's your willingness to excel that we're looking for. Okay. Your faith, knowing that you're complete now, and that your willingness to continue to strive to better yourself in the closing here. All right. You are indeed caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds. I showed you the whole process. This is me in the clouds on Easter, 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. I am back. You are caught up with me in the clouds. I prepared a place where we could meet in the air called cyberspace, where I am streaming live on YouTube. Okay. I also create a place that where I am, you may be also. That's this channel. So you can see my face and hear my voice. Okay. And I get to pass on some of this wonderful knowledge that I've learned along the way in this process. Okay. All of it's coming together just for you. Okay. So you will have the peace that transcends your circumstances, so that you will understand your place in this whole story. So you will have your identity as a true son of God, or child of God, son or daughter, because we have some lovely ladies in this room as well. Okay. Hang in there. You guys are doing well. Just keep going. It's like, what is it, Dory from the Fish movie? Just keep going. Just keep swimming. It's all you can do. Just keep going forward the best you can with what you got, and bring that light. When you understand who you are, your face starts to glow like this, and you bring that light into other people's lives. They don't see it necessarily, your face glowing like this, but in the spiritual realm, they do. Okay, your face is glowing, and you're bringing my light into their life, and it blesses you along the way as well, doesn't it? And that's why we actually have results here at this channel. Okay. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Everybody pray we make it through tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a happy birthday instead of, something different. All right. And regardless, it still doesn't change the fact that I will be back. Okay. I am already back, and I am still to come. And until my next show, I will be back. Bye. Love you all.